Hi, this is Kamera. My first few minutes with God, day number 303, Luke chapter 17 through chapter 18, verse 14. 10 men with leprosy. They see Jesus at a distance and they cry out, Master, have mercy on us. So Jesus looks up at them and he tells them to go and show themselves to the priest. As they went, their leprosy started to be cleansed. Isn't that something? So, one out of all of them, a Samaritan, he returns to Jesus, praising God and just thanking Jesus for his healing. Jesus asked him, where are the other nine? I healed 10. But only the foreigner returns. Only the foreigner returns to give God glory. That was the Samaritan. They're despised by the Jews. Isn't that something? So Jesus tells him that his faith has healed him. Jesus tells us that the kingdom of God cannot be detected by visual signs. He says the kingdom of God is already among us. The Son of Man must suffer. Isn't that something? So the Son of Man must suffer terribly and be rejected by this generation. This is what he's telling them. When the Son of Man returns, it will be like it was in the days of Noah and in the days of Lot. And he describes how people were with the flood, how they were still partying, they were still having weddings, they were still doing their things, living their lives when the flood happened with Noah. And they were talking about how the same thing, people living their lives, going about their business, even when the fire and everything happened, the sulfur and the fire came from heaven in Lot days. Well, when he comes back, people are just going to be living their lives, weddings, parties, going about their business. He says there's been no indication of when he comes. Isn't that something? He says, if you cling to this life, you will lose it. And if you let this life go, you will save it. Jesus tells a story of this unjust judge and this widow, this persistent widow. She wanted justice. So this unjust judge was not listening, but she was persistent. She kept going to him seeking justice. So he says he's just going to give her the justice that she wants because she is wearing me out with her constant request. So yeah. Jesus tells us that we should learn from this. He says, don't think that God will not give us justice if we, or to his chosen people, those who cry out to him. Isn't that something? So when we cry out to him day and night, we will get what we ask for. His chosen people, he said. Jesus tells a story about 2 men. One with great confidence that he's all righteous, he fasts, he gives, he does everything. He's not like the tax collectors, the sinners, that type of thing. Then you have the tax collector who's all humble and he pounds on his chest and he cries, Lord, have mercy on me, for I am a sinner. Well, Jesus says the sinner, not the Pharisee, returned home justified by God. He said, those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Yeah, guys, we got to keep it humble. No one is perfect. It's a fine line. Falling is a fine line. It's a fine line. So we must always make sure we check our heart that we keep it humble. We're no better than even the sinner. We are sinners, actually, still. We sin just by every day in the simplest of things when we let ourselves do what we want to do above what God expects of us. And he's so merciful. He's less judgmental than anyone else. But we cannot go judging people thinking we're better than them. That is not God at all. He loves us all equally. But there you have it, guys. That's day number 303, Luke chapter 17 through chapter 18, verse 14. You have a God-filled, blessed day.